Right, this is my second final video evaluation. This one is focusing on Kyle, because the first one focusing on Kyle as a person and his personal story. This one's focusing on the business, KG Fitness, which is his own personal training company. This one was focused more on him training actual people, like other people besides himself, and obviously focusing on sort of what you get by asking him to be your personal trainer rather than who he is as a person. We filmed this over a day, and we have two people in this. We have Chris and Jess, who I both met. They're both lovely. And I have verbal contracts for both of them, allowing me to use their likeness in this video. Right, now not a lot much more we can say about this. This was filmed at the where was this filmed at? This was filmed at the Excel Community Centre in Coventry, and that's about all I can say about this. So let's just get into it. So we'll start obviously with the first shot that I paused on because it hasn't even started yet. This shot I got. This was actually a very last minute shot. This was like as we were packing up, and I was kind of being a bit oblivious, and I didn't realize that the entirety of the day we were shooting, because I was there a good 6 hours. The entire day we've been shooting. Obviously, shooting was on and off. It wasn't all 6 hours. I didn't realize Kyle's shirt had personal trainer on the back of it. I didn't realize at all, because obviously this is a company shirt, so didn't realize it at all. Didn't realize it had personal trainer on the back. So as we were packing up and I was putting my camera away, I still happened to have it on the tripod, and I took this shot because I thought it was a very nice shot, like just having, especially when he flexes back, having the personal trainer, so like you know what you're dealing with straight away. It's a very sort of in your face, forward sort of, right, this is what this video is about. I mentioned in the last video that when I used an alternative to this shot, because I shot this about 6 times. Yeah, when I did the alternative to this shot, I used this as an alternative shot to the first one, and I said that I didn't like how the word sort of popped up, like sort of in the middle of the screen here. I didn't like that. But at the time, I thought it would look really good. So what I did with this one, because I did that one first, what I did with this one, this was my second bit, I decided to have it sort of gradually go down. So you go like there, and then it went there, and then it sort of went down, and then down. So then it never blocked Kyle, really. It kind of went, so the first two obviously came across over this sort of black see-through plastic, and then as it kind of got to Kyle, it kind of went across his chest, but still focuses on his arms and his face. And I thought, obviously, I said about the shot before previously, but when I did the actual text, it's the same font and it's the same color and texture to the same as the last one, so nothing much changes here except for layout of how I did it. And now I get to what was the most difficult part about filming, because I filmed Chris and Jess on separate days. I filmed Jess at Excel and I filmed Chris at Pure Gym. I got permission from both gyms, as I mentioned before, allowing me to film. And Excel wasn't that it wasn't full. It was actually very spacious, and I could move around, and I was able to get a lot more of my equipment in, so like my tripod and my mount and my shoulder rig and everything. So everything was a lot more accessible to me. And all the people that were in there's only about 5 people in there at the time, because we went in pretty early. I talked to all of them, and they said, yeah, well, we have a lot of people filming in here anyway. So, people in there, and most of them come in saying filming for a project or whatever, so they said there was no worries at all. Yeah, the biggest problem I had with this was the mirror. The mirror was definitely the biggest problem, because it was Pure Gym, it was fine. Like, there weren't a lot of issues with that, because we weren't really in a mirrored area. But with this, there was a lot of mirrors, especially because all of this, I'll use my cursor, all of this wall here, and then it kind of went round, was a mirror. So trying not to get in that shot was trying not to get in the shot was really, really difficult, because I couldn't really film. I had to film at some odd angles and some weird ones. Like this one, it was all right because I could kind of come off to the side, but yeah. As I was saying earlier, I was just using fonts that, so I was saying I'm using this black background to mark, because everything here is white, so obviously I didn't want to get in the way of the training here. So for Kyle and Chris, this is Chris. And so I didn't want to get in the way of that, so I used the black background here to obviously make the text pop a bit, and obviously give some information as to what things become readily available when you join Kyle. Let's see, yeah, this shot I liked because I used a 50mm for this to get, it weren't so much a great shallow depth of field, but it was the best I could get with the lighting, because the lighting in this area is very poor. And I got some great action shots when I worked with Chris. Chris was really giving it a lot of work, so like, if I put, obviously the main focus for all of this was making sure that you showed Kyle consulting with his clients and working with them, so that was the biggest thing I wanted to get with this. So showing, how he does the exercises with you, how he talks you through it. Obviously there's no audio, but the concept was there. Obviously he was giving you motivation, tips, showing you how to form and things like that. So that was what I wanted to convey throughout the most of this. The slow-mo I did because I didn't have anything that really fit the tempo of the song, like the beat, and so I really wanted to do something big on the drop when it dropped, and I thought that would be a good way. And with this, these two shots, how Kyle picked up the pace obviously for the bike, and I just started to gradually get faster and faster, and obviously, you see his legs move, and then it goes into the slow motion. The slow motion was just simply just to make sure that when he landed on the jump pad, this bit, that it matched the beat. So when he landed on it, that's when the beat dropped and everything sort of went from there. I was doing a pan round. I was doing like a pan around Chris, and like I said earlier, with this shot, there wasn't a lot I could do because obviously the mirrored corner around there, and that obviously prohibited what I could do with this shot. But for the most part, it worked out. The only issue again I have with this shot is that you can see my tripod in the background, and that wasn't ideal. But I was hoping it sort of blended in to the general shot. That's what I was hoping for, at least anyway. But it is quite obvious, and I didn't realise that at the time. Plugging in my Mac because it's dying. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, it is very obvious here in the corner, and that's a big fault on my part. But yeah, there wasn't a lot I could do with this. Yeah, I think that's just generally everything I think I need to say about this. Overall, I'm happy with both of my videos. I'm really happy with the shots, really happy with how it came across. Kyle said he really liked all of them. So yeah, I think I'm just happy that it all came across and how everything went. Yeah, I think that's my review of my second evaluation.